Listen, darling. I'm about to hand you something that sounds borderline impossible at first. But stay with me because what I'm revealing tonight has already transformed the lives of people who are exactly where you are right now, staring at their bank account wondering if the universe forgot their address. Tonight, you're going to master the ancient art of calling money by its name. And I promise you, the universe is paying far closer attention than you've ever dared to believe. Now, I already know what's crossing your mind. You're sitting there wondering if this is just another one of those fluffy manifestation videos where someone tells you to think happy thoughts while your rent comes due like clockwork. Trust me, I've seen it all. You tried the vision boards. You repeated affirmations until your throat went raw. You watched every manifestation teacher on the internet. You bought the crystals. You set the intentions. And yet somehow money still treats you like you're playing an endless game of hide and seek. Except money is extraordinarily good at hiding, and you're bone tired from seeking. Here's the truth everyone else is afraid to say. You've been calling money completely wrong this whole time. You've been shouting into emptiness like someone searching for cell service in the wilderness, wondering why the universe has you on hold. But what if I told you that money, like everything else in this extraordinary universe, responds to specificity, to intention, to being addressed by its proper name? What if the reason your financial prayers seem to bounce right back is because you've been speaking in generalities when the universe only answers specifics? Let me draw you a picture. Imagine walking into a packed room and shouting, "Hey person, do you honestly think anyone turns around with enthusiasm?" Probably not. They'll glance around puzzled, maybe slightly irritated, unsure whether you mean them or the stranger beside them. But call someone by their actual name. Hold their gaze and speak with intention and watch how instantly they respond. Watch how they lean forward, how they give you their undivided focus, how they're genuinely ready to engage. The universe operates exactly the same way, my dear. When you vaguely wish for more money or financial abundance, or just generally hope that circumstances improve, you're essentially sending the spiritual equivalent of a mass email that nobody opens. The universe receives thousands of those daily from people scattered all across the world. But when you call money by its specific name with purpose and precision and absolute clarity, suddenly you've delivered a handwritten invitation with a wax seal and everything, and the universe RSVPs with a thunderous yes. Now let's discuss why this matters more than you currently realize. Because I can already hear some of you thinking this is merely semantics, just rearranging words. But words, darling, are everything. Words constructed worlds. In the beginning was the Word. Remember, your words are not simply sounds moving through air. They're creative forces, they're commands, they're prayers answered in real time. Every single thing in your life right now is a direct result of the words you've been speaking, the thoughts you've been thinking, the stories you've been telling yourself about what's actually possible for you. The trouble is most people are unknowingly commanding poverty into their lives through the very language they use each and every day. You wake up, glance your balance, and say, "I'm absolutely broke." You see something you want and reflexively say, "I can't afford that." Someone invites you out and you respond with, "Money is incredibly tight right now." You observe successful people and think, "Must be nice." Money flows easily to them. Never to someone like me. And the universe, being the flawless servant it is, being the most obedient genie imaginable, says your wish is my command and delivers precisely what you've ordered. You ordered broke. You receive broke. You ordered can't afford it. You get more situations where affording things is impossible. You ordered tight money and money squeezes itself further from your reach. But here's where everything becomes fascinating, and I need you to absorb this deeply because it will alter everything. The universe functions on a principle that ancient wisdom keepers carried, that mystics have understood across millennia, and that modern quantum physics is only beginning to confirm. Everything is energy, and energy responds to vibration. Your words carry vibration. Your thoughts carry vibration. Your emotions carry vibration. Your emotions carry vibration. And money, my darling, is energy too. It's not simply paper and coins and digits on a screen. It's a current, a flow, a force moving through the universe searching for channels to travel through. It flows, it moves, It answers a frequency you're broadcasting the way a radio finds its station. When you call money by name, when you address it with specificity and expectation and complete authority, you're tuning your frequency to match its frequency. You're finally communicating the same language. You're no longer attempting a conversation in English with someone fluent only in French and wondering why comprehension fails. You're matching the vibration. You're aligning with the current. You're becoming magnetic rather than repellent. Consider it this way, and this illustration truly brings it home. If I told you to go locate a thing somewhere inside your house, you'd likely freeze in confusion, right? You'd scan your surroundings, wondering what thing, where exactly, why, how would you even recognize it when found? But if I said, go get the blue ceramic mug with a chipped handle sitting on the second shelf of your kitchen cabinet, the one you purchased from that charming little shop during your vacation 3 years ago, you'd know precisely what to do. You'd hold a vivid image in your mind. You'd walk straight toward it. You'd identify it immediately upon seeing it. The universe requires that identical level of clarity from you. Not fuzzy wishes, not broad hopes, not fingers crossed maybe, but specific named requests carrying intention and authority and absolute certainty. So let's become practical, because I'm not here to simply fill your mind with beautiful concepts that sound wonderful but never actually change your balance. I'm here to hand you a method that genuinely works, one you can begin tonight the very moment this finishes, and that will begin reshaping your financial reality immediately. Fair warning though, some of this might feel slightly strange at first, perhaps even uncomfortable. But remember, feeling strange and being powerful tend to travel together. Every powerful person I've encountered has been willing to do things that initially made them feel slightly ridiculous. First, and this is completely non-negotiable, you're going to eliminate poverty language immediately. I mean right now, from this moment forward. Every time you catch yourself saying, I'm broke, or I can't afford it, or money never comes to me, or I'm terrible with money, or any version of lack and limitation, you're going to stop mid-sentence if necessary. Bite your tongue. Catch yourself, because every time those words leave your mouth, you're submitting an order to the universe for more of that exact experience. Instead, you're going to reframe. And this isn't toxic positivity where you pretend everything sparkles when it doesn't. This is conscious creation. This is speaking from the reality you're constructing rather than the reality you're leaving behind. So instead of, I'm broke, try, I'm in the process of calling my money in right now. Instead of, I can't afford it, say, I'm choosing to direct my resources differently at this moment. Or, even better, I'm calling in the funds for exactly that. Instead of, money is so hard for me, say, money flows toward me easily, and I'm becoming a better receiver of it each passing day. Feel that difference. One broadcasts scarcity and limitation. The other broadcasts choice and expectation and forward momentum toward something greater. The universe is perpetually listening, perpetually responding, perpetually creating your next moment based on this one. So ensure you're declaring what you genuinely want to experience. Second, you're going to get extraordinarily specific about the money you need. I mean outrageously specific, penny-level specific. So precise it might feel excessive. But that's precisely the intention. Don't simply say you need money. That communicates nothing to the universe. Money for what purpose? What amount exactly? By what date? What will it accomplish? Give details. If you need $3,247 for your car repair, then that's the exact figure you speak. Not approximately $3,000 or several thousand, but $3,247. But $3,247. If you need $532 for groceries this month, declare that. If you need $15,000 to eliminate your credit card, name that number. If you need $200,000 for a house down payment, claim that specific amount. The universe doesn't process vague, it processes precision. It's like a cosmic fulfillment warehouse. When you place an order, it needs to know exactly which item to send. Tonight, before sleep, I want you to write down the exact amounts of money you need, not approximations, not ranges, exact numbers, and write down what each amount is designated for. Build a list. Make it tangible. Make it concrete. Don't hold back. Don't shrink your numbers to appear more reasonable. Don't minimize your genuine needs to seem less demanding. Be truthful. Be specific. Call that money by its numerical name. Third, and here's where it grows genuinely interesting, where the transformation truly accelerates. You're going to assign your money a purpose. Money loves having direction. It wants to understand what it's being summoned for. It wants to know what mission awaits. Money without purpose resembles an employee without a job description, wandering aimlessly without knowing what to accomplish. But money carrying clear purpose, that money moves heaven and earth toward you because it understands it's needed. It recognizes it has meaningful work to do. So when you call that $30,247, you don't merely speak the number. You say, I'm calling in $30,247 for my car repair so I can safely reach work and continue constructing my abundant life and fulfilling my purpose in this world. Notice what we accomplished there. We gave the money a name, a specific numerical name. We gave it a purpose, the car repair, and we connected it to your larger vision, your ability to work, to remain safe, to build abundance, to serve. That's an invitation the universe can genuinely work with. That's a prayer that receives an answer. Or suppose you need money for rent. Don't simply say, I need rent money. Say, I'm calling in $1,500 for my rent due on the 1st of the month, so I can live with peace and security and have a sacred space to nurture my dreams and restore my body. You're attaching meaning. You're attaching purpose. You're connecting it to your well-being and your grander vision. The universe responds to that depth of intention. Fourth, you're going to practice speaking to money as though it already belongs to you. This is where most people falter because they believe it's dishonest. They call it delusional. They think they're simply pretending. It isn't dishonest, darling, it's claiming. And there's a profound, fundamental distinction between those two things. When you say, thank you for the $3,247 moving toward me, you're not being delusional. You're operating from faith. You're speaking from the destination. You're treating money like the devoted friend it longs to be, already celebrating its arrival before it manifests in your physical reality. This is precisely how the universe functions. This is how creation unfolds. Faith calls things into existence. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not yet visible. You must see it within your mind before seeing it in your account. You must feel it as real before it becomes real. You must thank it before it arrives because that gratitude is precisely what opens the channel for it to flow through. Doubt pushes things away. Worry repels everything. But faith and gratitude, those are the highest order magnets. So begin speaking about your money in present and future tense. Never in desperate wishful tense. Not, I wish I had money, but money flows to me constantly and abundantly. Not maybe someday I'll experience wealth, but I am wealthy and my wealth expands further every single day. Not I hope money arrives, but money is flowing toward me this very moment, in expected and unexpected forms. Feel the distinction within those statements. Feel how one leaves you feeling small and hopeful in a desperate way, while the other leaves you feeling powerful and expectant in a genuinely confident way. Fifth, and this might be my personal favorite because it's so elegantly simple yet profoundly deep, you're going to stop treating money as the adversary or some mysterious force exclusively reserved for other people. So many of us carry this deeply adversarial relationship with money. We resent it. We're suspicious of it. We believe it's corrupting or evil. We imagine that wealthy people are somehow spiritually inferior or morally compromised. We've accumulated these strange narratives about money gathered from our parents, our culture, our religious upbringing, our past experiences of genuine scarcity. But here's the truth. Money is neutral. It's energy. It's a tool. It gravitates toward whoever calls it with the clearest signal, whoever carries the least resistance, whoever welcomes it like a cherished friend rather than a necessary burden. So begin speaking to money as though you're in a relationship with it. because you absolutely are. You share a relationship with money, whether you acknowledge that or not. And currently, for most of you, it's a dysfunctional relationship, saturated with resentment and distrust and disappointment. What if you treated money like a treasured companion? What if you welcomed it each morning? Greet money when you awaken. Thank money each time it appears, even discovering a penny on the pavement, even finding a forgotten dollar in your jacket pocket, even your expected regular paycheck. Acknowledge every bit of money flowing toward you, regardless of the amount, because that signals to the universe you're genuinely paying attention and you're truly grateful. And gratitude, my dear, is the swiftest multiplier of anything in your life. I want you to begin keeping what I call a prosperity journal. Each and every day, record every bit of money that arrived. Your paycheck, absolutely, but also that refund received, that $5 a friend returned, that discount at the register, that free coffee someone treated you to. Count everything. Acknowledge everything. Appreciate everything. Because when you genuinely recognize how much money actually flows toward you, even presently, even when abundance feels absent, you realize money is already reaching you. You simply aren't acknowledging it. You aren't genuinely appreciating it, and therefore the universe interprets that as disinterest because you're not even noticing what's already arriving. Now here's a technique I want you to practice tonight, and I'm completely serious about this assignment. This is non-negotiable. If you genuinely want to transform your financial life, this is your homework from the universe itself. Before you sleep, settle into quiet for just 5 minutes. Switch off the television. Set your phone aside. Center yourself. Take 3 deep breaths to quiet your mind and settle into your heart. Then out loud if you're alone, or silently within if others are nearby. Speak directly to the universe. Address it like your closest friend, your loving parent, your devoted partner. Say something resembling this, adjusted naturally to your own circumstances. Universe, God, Source, whatever name resonates most deeply with you. I'm calling in exactly the money I need. I'm calling in $12,000 to eliminate my credit card debt and liberate myself from that weight completely. I'm calling in $3,000 to establish my emergency fund so I can rest peacefully each night. I'm calling in $2,000 for that program I've been drawn to that will expand my abilities and grow my income. I'm calling in $500 extra this month for groceries and genuine breathing room. I call this money by name. I call it with clear purpose. I call it with absolute faith and joyful expectation. I claim it as already mine, already traveling, already moving through the universe toward me right now. I thank you for delivering it in perfect timing, through means that surprise and genuinely delight me, through channels expected and completely unexpected. I am prepared to receive. I am open to receive. I am grateful to receive. And so it is. Feel that? Feel the shift that occurs when you speak with that quality of clarity and genuine authority. That isn't begging. That isn't wishing desperately. That's commanding. That's claiming. That's the movement from victim to creator, from powerless to genuinely powerful, from someone who wishes for money to someone who calls it forward by name. The universe responds to those who understand exactly what they want and speak for it specifically. Confidently, with complete certainty, it's already theirs. Confidence is magnetic. Clarity is powerful. Specificity is absolutely unstoppable, and you, my dear, are about to embody all 3. You're about to inhabit a version of yourself that speaks a completely different language, thinks entirely different thoughts, expects entirely different results. And that version of you attracts money the way a magnet draws iron filings toward itself. But let's acknowledge the obvious concern, because I know some of you are already thinking, this sounds wonderful. This all sounds amazing. But what if nothing actually changes? What if I call money by name and silence follows? What if I apply everything you're sharing and I'm equally stuck financially next month? What if this simply works for everyone except me? I hear that fear. I understand it completely. But here's what decades of watching this actually function have shown me. From living it personally, from witnessing the transformation repeatedly in real lives, the universe has never once withheld its response to genuine faith supported by corresponding action. Notice I specifically said supported by action. This is non-negotiable. You cannot simply recline on your sofa, call money by name, and expect it to materialize from nowhere while you consume snacks and watch television reruns doing absolutely nothing differently. That simply isn't how this operates. The universe responds to faith combined with action. It meets you at the halfway point. It arranges the opportunities, but you must step through the doors. It reorganizes circumstances, but you must show up prepared. It delivers the inspired ideas, but you must implement them faithfully. So, when you call money by name with genuine purpose and clear specificity, you must simultaneously be willing to move. You must fulfill your portion. You must follow the inspired nudges that arrive. When a sudden impulse to contact someone you haven't spoken to in months surfaces, honor that impulse. When you notice a job listing that quickens your heartbeat, submit your application. When someone mentions an opportunity and something within you ignites, pursue that flame. When an idea for a side venture or a way to create genuine value surfaces, act on it immediately. The universe positions the dominoes, but you must be willing to tip the first one and trust completely that the rest cascade in perfect sequence. And here's something equally crucial, something that consistently trips people up at the critical moment. When money begins arriving, and it absolutely will, I promise you faithfully, you must receive it without guilt or suspicion or self-destructive behavior. This matters enormously. So many people finally call money forward. It begins flowing, things genuinely start shifting, and suddenly they panic completely. They convince themselves it's too extraordinary to be genuine. They question what they did to deserve it. They feel guilty holding abundance while others struggle. They immediately scatter it all just to escape the discomfort of actually having it. They manufacture some emergency or crisis that consumes the money because somewhere beneath everything they genuinely don't believe they merit keeping it. Release that pattern this instant. You called it by name. You gave it clear purpose. You claimed it through faith. You pursued the inspired actions. You honored the process. You absolutely deserve every single cent that reaches you. Welcome it with joy, with gratitude, with the unshakable confidence of someone who understands their partnership with an abundant universe that wants their flourishing. Don't apologize for your abundance. Don't minimize it. Don't conceal it. Don't undermine it. Receive it, celebrate it, steward it wisely, and let it create greater good in your life and throughout the world. I've witnessed this function in the most remarkable, miraculous, completely astonishing ways imaginable. I've watched people call in the precise amount needed down to the single cent and have it surface within days through the most improbable channels. A check arriving by mail they had completely forgotten from some dormant insurance claim, a new client who discovered them seemingly from nowhere and wanted precisely what they offered, an unexpected refund from something written off months earlier, an unscheduled workplace bonus, a long-forgotten investment that suddenly produced returns, a stranger who quietly covered their groceries, an opportunity that landed fully formed in their path. The universe is wildly, inventively, joyfully abundant in its methods of delivery, but it always delivers when you call with genuine clarity and faith and expectant certainty. I recall one person who needed exactly $6,720 for a critical medical procedure. They called that exact amount by name, assigned it that specific purpose, expressed gratitude in advance. Within 2 weeks, they received a telephone call about an old savings bond their grandmother had purchased for them 2 full decades earlier that had finally reached maturity. And when they collected it, you already sense what happened. $6,712 exactly. That isn't coincidence. That's the universe answering a clear, completely specific call. Another individual needed $3,000 for their rent before the month ended with no visible source anywhere. They felt the pull toward panic, toward anxiety, toward collapsing back into scarcity thinking. But they held their ground. They called that money by name every single day without wavering. They expressed gratitude. They maintained expectation. They took action as inspiration arrived, refreshing their resume, reconnecting with old contacts, embracing opportunities as they emerged, and in the final week of the month seemingly materializing from nothing. They received contact from someone wanting to hire them immediately for a freelance project paying, as you've already imagined, exactly $3,000. Beginning immediately, these aren't extraordinary anomalies. This is the consistent pattern when you grasp the principles and apply them faithfully and without compromise. The universe plays no favorites. It isn't bestowing abundance on certain individuals while withholding it from others based on some arbitrary selection. It's responding to frequency, to clarity, to genuine expectation. Transform your frequency by transforming your language. Sharpen your clarity by naming your money with precision. Elevate your expectation by treating money as already belonging to you. Now, some of you carry deeper money wounds, ancient stories running so profoundly through you they've become invisible to your own awareness. Stories about being unworthy of genuine wealth. Stories about money being the root of corruption. Stories about wealthy people lacking spiritual depth or human decency. Stories about labor being the only legitimate path to earning. Stories about generational poverty defining your destiny. Stories about prosperity and spirituality being fundamentally incompatible. These narratives are shackles, my dear, and the time to break them is now. Let's dissolve some falsehoods immediately. Money is a tool. It's an amplifier. It intensifies what you already are at your core. If generosity lives in you, money multiplies your generosity because greater resources flow through you. If kindness defines you, money expands your capacity to express that kindness. If creativity drives you, money furnishes greater resources for your creative vision. Money doesn't corrupt genuinely good people. It reveals character absolutely, but never manufactures bad character. If someone becomes destructive when wealth arrives, that destruction already lived within them. The resources simply removed the concealment. There is nothing spiritually elevated about financial deprivation. Poverty doesn't confer nobility. It doesn't deepen enlightenment. It doesn't improve character. It simply produces exhaustion and anxiety and severe limitation in your capacity to help yourself and contribute to others. You're completely permitted to desire money. You're permitted to call it forward. You're permitted to be abundantly, joyfully, extravagantly prosperous. The universe has no scarcity deficit. It produced billions of galaxies housing trillions of stars. It can certainly ensure you possess sufficient money for your needs and your desires and your grandest dreams. Some of the most genuinely spiritual, most generous, most deeply loving people I've encountered also possess substantial wealth because they grasp that money is energy and they're excellent channels for that energy to move through. They receive it with genuine gratitude and distribute it with authentic generosity, and it continues flowing because that's precisely what energy does when unobstructed by guilt or fear or limiting stories. So tonight, right this moment, I'm delivering an assignment from the universe itself, channeled through me specifically to you. Before you sleep tonight, you're going to call money by its name. You're going to be completely specific. You're going to record the exact amounts you need and their precise purposes. You're going to speak them aloud with unwavering confidence and expectation and absolute authority. You're going to express gratitude in advance. You're going to assign them meaningful work, and then you're going to release them to the universe with total trust, knowing completely that what you've called is already traveling towards you, moving through the invisible into the visible realm, reorganizing circumstances and people and events to deliver itself into your hands in perfect timing. And here's where your participation becomes essential, because I genuinely want to hear what unfolds when you try this. I want you to comment below right now and tell me the specific amount you're summoning tonight. Write it out. Release it into the universe through your words. Declare, I'm calling in X amount for Y purpose, and simply observe what follows. This isn't only about accountability, though that carries genuine weight. This isn't simply about participation, though that absolutely amplifies everything. This is about collective energy. When we name our money together, when we elevate our frequency together, when we expect abundance collectively, we generate a wave that becomes genuinely unstoppable. We become mirrors for each other, reflecting that we're not delusional, we're not isolated, and we are absolutely not without power. We're creators, we're manifestors. We're beloved children of an abundant universe designed for our flourishing. So please comment below, share your number, share your purpose, release all embarrassment, release all hesitation. Your abundance subtracts nothing from anyone else's. There's genuine sufficiency for everyone. Your prosperity actively serves others because it demonstrates possibility and equips you with greater resources to share and contribute and generate goodness in the world. And listen, if this touched something real in you, if something genuinely shifted internally while you are here, if you feel measurably different now than you did when you began, then this channel deserves your subscription because we've barely scratched the surface. Florence Scovel Shinn's principles of genuine prosperity are coming to you through Scovel Spirit Daily, and we're bringing you the ones that actually produce results. The ones requiring no spiritual contortion or reality denial or performance of contentment when life is genuinely difficult. Real principles, practical applications, techniques deployable today, tonight, this very moment to shift your financial reality. Hit subscribe, enable notifications, because next week, the secret language that makes opportunities pursue you rather than the reverse arrives here, and missing it would be a genuine loss. I'm talking about the precise words that make people say yes to you. The phrases that swing doors wide open, the way of speaking that compels the universe to move mountains on your behalf. But for right now, for tonight, your singular assignment is this: call your money by its name. Be specific. Be bold, be genuinely expectant. Release vague wishing and general hoping and fingers crossed maybe from your vocabulary forever. Name your number. Give it purpose. Express gratitude in advance. Speak to it as already yours. Because here's the secret that genuinely transforms everything. It already is yours. It's already been set aside specifically for you. It's already traveling toward you. You simply need to call it clearly home. You simply need to grant it permission to land. You simply need to open your hands and your heart and your genuine expectation to receive it. Remember, darling, you're not petitioning the universe for charity. You're not pleading with some reluctant power to toss you remnants. You're claiming what's already genuinely yours. You're calling your money by name because you now understand that specificity is power, that your words are creative forces of extraordinary magnitude, that your faith carries substance, that your expectation functions as a magnet, and that the universe is waiting eagerly, joyfully, with genuine excitement to deliver everything you've been too vague or too frightened or too entrenched in scarcity to specifically request. Money is not your actual problem. Money has never once been your real problem. Unclear language has been your problem. Poverty vocabulary has been your problem. Vague yearning has been your problem. The absence of genuine specificity has been your problem. But that pattern ends tonight, right here, this precise moment, from this point forward. You speak differently. You think differently. You expect something completely different. You call your money by name. And the universe has absolutely no choice but to respond in kind. The universe obeys when you call money by name because you're finally speaking its actual language. You're finally functioning as the powerful creator you were always designed to be. You're finally wielding your words as the instruments they were always meant to be. You're finally comprehending that you are not a casualty of circumstances, but the genuine architect of circumstances. And money, that devoted companion, that willing servant, that flowing current has simply been waiting for your clear call. Waiting to know its destination. Waiting to know where to go. So go ahead immediately. Don't delay even a moment. Write down those numbers. Speak them with genuine authority. Give them meaningful purpose. Thank them before they arrive. Feel them as already yours completely. And then witness with absolute wonder as the universe rushes to fulfill the very specific request you just submitted. Watch as opportunities materialize. Watch as inspired ideas surface. Watch as money arrives through expected and completely unexpected channels. Watch as your account reflects your new reality. Watch as your entire financial existence transforms completely. Not through fortunate accident, not because you finally proved yourself worthy, but because you finally understood how to speak fluent abundance, because you finally discovered how to call your money by name. Your abundant life isn't coming someday. Your money is prepared to come home right now. All it required was your clear, specific, confident, numerically precise call to bring it all the way home. Now go and make that call. The universe is fully present and listening. The universe is already responding. And darling, it's preparing to deliver in ways that will genuinely astonish you, overwhelm you with wonder, and demonstrate to you beyond any remaining doubt that you are not powerless. You are not restricted, and you are absolutely not overlooked. You are a beloved creation of an abundant universe, and it's time you inhabited that truth completely. Sweet dreams.